I'd start by saying my two primary wargaming systems would be BattleTech and Warhammer 40,000. Not only just on the narrative and years in and the community, great, awesome community out there for 40K and BattleTech, but just overall, certainly that consumes a lot of my gaming time, a lot of my tabletop gaming time. I would say those are and have been and consistently been my primary systems. Secondary to that, and I say only secondary because there's only so much time to play games in the world. I wish there was more, and I try to get in as much gaming as I can when I can on there. But these second-tier systems are systems that I enjoy, but they're a little bit more focused in terms of finding players and cultivating a group. So just literally lining up time to play is a little bit more challenging. Chain of Command, DBA, DBN, essentially historical war games on there, trying to recreate a period in time to see what happens. And the duality of these type of games, these systems, and I have to say, Chain of Command, I've got a couple of videos and podcasts up on my channel here and over on my blog. In terms of pure rules and tactics, Chain of Command is the best rule set that I've ever seen, that I've ever played. Just in terms of the options, in terms of how things are balanced out, in terms of the tactics, a lot of very, very unique things, hidden movement, jump off points, ways to interrupt your opponent. It's a resource based. It's not just you go, I go. Easily, this is heresy right here, easily you could take your Space Marines and my Eldar and play them with Chain of Command and have an amazing, amazing game on there. I love Chain of Command, and the historical aspect is interesting. I find it, especially with World War II, almost very spiritual. And what I mean by that is these are playing games that are dealing with living history, with the effects of history in here, and literally trying to insert myself from a historical perspective into that time period. What decisions are made? Why? How would we play this? And historical wargaming is interesting because the tech level is the tech level on there. You have what you have based on the time period, and it's very, very specific. There's not a lot of deviation out there, although there are some irregular units and some options that you can take. But it's not like BattleTech and Warhammer 40K where there's tons and tons of units and tons of things that you can do on there. Third tier, these are war games that, again, I love all of them, but the stars really need to align to make it happen. And as much as I love them, would I want to play them all the time as my primary systems, say like BattleTech or Warhammer 40K or Chain of Command? No, I get a good fill on them. Two examples, Judge Dredd miniatures. I love Judge Dredd. I love the narrative. I love the universe. I love all of that. On a personal level, it's just kind of a chance to jump in and relive comic book memories and play the what-if scenarios. One of my favorite scenarios is taking a bunch of zombies that I have, which are like cursed Earth mutants and stuff, and having Dredd work with Mean Machine and the Angel Gang just to try and survive wave after wave after wave on there. And there's this interesting interplay between the Justice Department and outlaws, whoever you're playing, where you're on the same team for a moment. Would Dredd do that? Dredd would just like execute everybody. But okay, maybe. But it's interesting when we play that you're working together as a team, yet at the same time you're trying to maneuver your opponent into a place where they're going to keep you alive just long enough, but in a couple of terms they're going to get swarmed by tons and tons of zombies on there. I mean, it's interesting. But Judge Dredd miniatures. Mordheim. I love that game. I love looking for Weirdstone. We play it 3 or 4 times a year when things roll around on there. But it's a very, very specific type of kernel type game on there in order to play it. And Aliens versus Predator, The Hunt Begins. On a side note, I think The rules are okay. The rules are okay on there for it. It's a board game, but really it's a miniatures game that has been scaled down to a board game, and you can play it as a miniatures game. I love the AVP franchise. I love fighting aliens. I love everything about it on there. The rules are just good enough. There's a couple of areas where it slows down, but for me, it's completely the miniatures and the narrative and setting up a table and dealing with that. We kind of have the aliens automated AI, I guess, like Zombicide Invader, and that's why I love Invader so much. We're putting board games aside for a moment. But this third class, this third tier of games, every now and then. And then I have what I would call side systems. These two systems, X-Wing Miniatures and Wings of Glory. Again, absolutely fantastic, but they occupy a vastly different space, and they're not part of my regular gaming diet on there. X-Wing Miniatures, I have to speak more about it. I've got some tactics I've been working on. I've got some ideas. Absolutely. The challenge with X-Wing Miniatures for me is I have no emotional baggage to it. I know about Star Wars. I like Star Wars. Would I be a Jedi or a Sith? I'd probably want to be a Sith on there. But I'm certainly not a fanboy. I'm certainly not... I don't know all of the expanded universe and the canon and this and that. And you know, I kind of liked all the movies, especially the recent movies out there. I thought they were really good. But because of that, I play X-Wing Miniatures very competitive. Very, very competitive. I play in local events. I play in tournaments. It's very unlike me. It is. It really is, because I would say, if I was expressing myself, and as I try to express in my podcasts here and the articles over on my blog, I'm mainly a narrative player. I want to win, but I want us to have fun, and I want to have heroics. I want to have a last stand. I want to have games weekly that we can think about and remember and enjoy. I put that first, and winning second, but it's up there. It's up there. I mean, it's a war game, right? We need that on there. But X-Wing Miniatures, because I have no tie or love to the lore or the narrative, I just am kind of the wackest player, WAAC, win at all costs, broken lists. Very, very unlike me. Very unlike me. But I find myself, I can stomach it, and it's palpable because I'm not overly invested in X-Wing Miniatures, the narrative perspective, and how much I'm going to brutalize it on there. But I love X-Wing Miniatures. It's painted, the tactics are good, it plays fast, does everything what it's supposed to do, the community is amazing. It's just a very, very different part of my gaming personality. And then there's Wings of Glory. Wings of Glory is one of my favorite games, World War I. It works. It's a lot of fun. The miniatures are pre-painted. Everyone understands dogfighting in the sky. The rules are excellent. X-Wing Miniatures, Wings of Glory. X-Wing Miniatures was based off, the flight path system was based off of Wings of Glory. Wings of Glory is the only war game that I know, and you can find out more by some of the WOG podcasts up on my channel here. It's the only war game that I know that can scale perfectly. It doesn't matter the number of players. It doesn't matter the number of planes, because everything happens simultaneously. Everyone programs their movement. Everyone executes their movement. Everyone executes firing. Everyone executes second movement, firing, third movement, firing. Then reprogram your dashboard. You do 3 moves at a time. Because of that, if it's a big gaming group or a special event, I have more planes than I can ever use or possibly admit to using on there. And I don't know, more just seem to arrive somehow at my house. Don't know anything about it. And this type of game I bring to play if it's a special event or if it's going to be a lot of Wargamers. So it should come out more, and I do play one-on-one every now and then, but it's the type of thing that scales so well when you're going to a mini convention or a gaming club event, and they're like, look, Fritz, we need you to run something that is easily approachable, instantly recognizable, and not only are the rules easy to understand after about 2 minutes, it can scale up with whoever shows up on there. Wings of Glory fits all of that. So I'm going to toss it over to you guys just out of pure curiosity. I don't know, because the metrics are kind of weird here on YouTube of who views my channels. And I appreciate the comments and the feedback always. And I can see the strong 40K presence. I can see the strong Battletech presence, role-playing games, things like that. But outside of your primary systems, what other war games do you play? And as an extension, what type of games maybe should I be looking at, knowing this kind of tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 side tier, how I have things broken out? Are there some games that maybe would make a good tier 2 type war game on there?